Good morning and happy today. Welcome to the show, Proof of Work. Today's episode is Bitcoin is Digital Oil. Let's thank our sponsors first out the gate. We want to thank Quantum Expeditions. If you're not aware, Quantum X is pretty much taking stranded energy in the form of methane and reducing their power to cost generation. That gives you a lot more profitability in the long run. And we said this actually on the show, right? That as we go forward in the future, more Bitcoin miners are going to become energy producers and vice versa, right? And this is the beginning of that. We see it happening with TEPCO as well with their solar farms. And I wouldn't be surprised if in the near future, they're taking advantage of the wind farms that are in Western Texas as well, because Mara is even doing that, right? We also want to thank our sponsor, Shieldfolio. You should see their logo coming up in a second. If you scan Shieldfolio's QR code, you get a discount of 20% off on your Shieldfolio. And obviously, basically what it does is it protects your seed phrases, and you have a special pen and you have to look under UV light to see your seed phrases, and it's waterproof. And I know we said in the future they are making one that's going to become fireproof. I think that's in the works, but this is better than, obviously just having it in a memo pad or a notebook of some sort. And obviously, we want to thank everyone at
Deorganized Media.
Deorganized Media. Yep. And everyone on the Bitcoin Live team. I think we got everybody.
All ready to go.
Awesome. And Nick is with us today. So Bitcoin is digital oil. Obviously, as I was stating earlier, I was in a spaces with Quantum X, a lot of people from the Quantum Expeditions and the Quantum Economics team. And I was letting people know that, if we look at the history of some of the, most important commodities in the markets these days, like oil or gold, you will just go back a couple thousand years. They only had maybe 3 to 4 applications each, right? Gold was like money and jewelry. That was about it. Oil, it might have been, like I was saying to Nick like 10 minutes ago, like used on your food, maybe to light your room, and maybe used in some religious ceremonies. It took another couple thousand years before gold and oil had financial applications like gold futures and oil futures and options and all these other types of financial instruments that are built around these products. Bitcoin already has these instruments, and we're only barely a teenager, right? Bitcoin's gonna, I think, be 16 or 17 years old this year. So Bitcoin's only been around for 16 years, and it's light years ahead in the future. And just as we were saying, Quantum Expeditions is doing this, right? They're taking methane flare gas, and instead of it like on like thousands of oil fields and LNG fields all over the globe where that they don't use that product, they literally just take a match and go it's literally wasted energy. Bitcoin fixes that, right? And that's just one of many, many, many applications at GPT to pull up. So now, so obviously, core applications, obviously Bitcoin can be a peer-to-peer transaction. That was the big story on when people were saying Venmo's like adding Bitcoin. No, they're adding P2P now, which is different, which is awesome. I'm glad they're doing that. but they've had Bitcoin and open wallets for like, I know they added crypto 5 years ago. I think in 2021 they gave people the keys to those wallets, right? So peer-to-peer money is a big one. Obviously, store of value is another one, and that's where it gets its digital gold. Obviously, the L1 itself is a settlement layer for not only information, but now it's monetary as well.
Yeah, you could.
Then obviously, if we get into, go ahead.
No, yeah, you're probably going there anyway, but it's basically the base layer of the Internet of Value, right?
Yeah, exactly. And that's another, obviously, circle in the Venn diagram of many applications that Bitcoin has. We go into Lightning Network, and obviously, and in the Lightning chain, we can do faster transactions. We can also obviously do it for way cheaper transactional fees. And it's not just obviously Lightning. There's the Liquid network stacks. Would be many more Bitcoin L2s that come out. I don't want to get into privacy tools, but Liquid utilizes I forget what technology it is, but there is a technology that basically it's not like a public address where if I put it into a block explorer, I can see pretty much everything in your wallet. And that is a huge deal. But again, I didn't want to get too much into privacy, but the financial applications, as we were saying, there is Bitcoin futures, Bitcoin options, Bitcoin binary trading that goes on thousands of exchanges around the globe. Most people don't bet on a price of a barrel of oil like in every minute of every day. But people do that with Bitcoin and lots of other cryptos. Obviously, the ETU vehicle, the iBit and Fidelity, and the other ones that are out there. I think there's almost 20 different Bitcoin ETFs. And just the other day, I don't know which one it was. Maybe you can pull that up, Nick. They got the green light for 10,000 family offices. So that's big. Lending and collateral. Now, obviously, you can borrow against your Bitcoin position to protect those Satoshis because, Bitcoin's annual return is so huge that just to liquidate even like a half a Bitcoin could be very detrimental to your long-term strategies. Yes, now there's obviously Bitcoin treasury companies like MicroStrategy, 21, and the like. Now there's, I don't know how many. Again, I tell people I'm more concerned with these alternate companies building a ton reserve. It's like, yeah, tons has an interesting ecosystem. I think it'll be around for maybe 5, 10, 20 years. I don't know. I can't tell you how far. I think you should be building a huge reserve of ton coin. I think BNB maybe is also in that category, but people are doing it. There's also a company doing one with Solana.
And Doggy.
Go ahead.
Dogecoin, I think also.
Oh, Doge. There's a Doge reserve.
Yeah, I think so. I'm not.
Oh yeah, I think you're right. Yeah. I did hear somebody doing that. There's multiple Litecoin treasury companies. I would stick to proof of work coins. So even though Doge is not a great idea because its supply is ever increasing towards in the future. Long-term investment strategies, I tell people you want something that's always decreasing in supply. So that's Bitcoin, that's Litecoin, anything like under 100 million, I am usually a big fan of. But we were talking
wouldn't
about
be smart
MetaMask.
to use like as a
Go
treasury,
ahead.
as your treasury collateral, something that is diluting in value, right?
Yeah, exactly. You don't want something that's continually growing in volume, because your position is going to just keep doing that. This is just basics 101 of token economics, right? If the supply keeps growing and your position is staying the same, then you need to do this, right? I think that's why Bitcoin, people use Bitcoin, whether 100 satoshis to it happens, right? People lose Bitcoin, and the supply is down to like 19 million. So someone did get their Bitcoin back. Let me see if I can pull up my.
Yeah, and also with quantum computing, a lot of these lost wallets will recirculate into active supply, right? As these wallets are broken into with quantum computing.
Well, so that's the thing. It's a great question. So I don't know. I don't think I have it anymore. Let me give you a second. I'm just double checking some info on my phone.
Oh wow, was locked out of his Coinbase account.
Yeah, for a while.
Wow.
So that's some more BTC that it will be unlocked. I think he'll keep hodling just because he's already got a lot of dollars.
That's a nice
I
surprise.
don't think I have it. But I did. Let me see. This is old. They did use a quantum hack a key, but
Yeah.
it was a 6-bit key, if I'm not mistaken. Let me see. I'm just going through the photos because that's where I usually keep the article.
Yeah, I
titles.
think it's not really a present danger at the moment, but in the future, as quantum computing becomes more,
Yeah, I don't have it.
Yeah.
Oh, but again, it's a 6-bit. I think it was 133. Let me see if I can pull it up.
I don't mind waking up to my Coinbase account and then seeing 117K on it. That would be a very nice surprise.
Yeah. Okay. So I didn't find the exact article I was reading, but I did find another article from just the other day. Yeah, a couple weeks ago. And here it is. So IBM's 133 qubit quantum computer cracked a a toy. I like how they put a toy in there because the other article didn't make it very clear that 6-bit ECC key versus a 256 encrypted bit ECC key is totally different. But just to go down here, yeah, look, the key points: Bitcoin and Ethereum's rely right on what I was just saying. Far better current capabilities through harvest, now decrypt, later risk, keep quantum fears alive. But yeah, very unlikely. Let's see if we get into it. Oh yeah, look, like this is how dumb Fred Krueger is. No offense, don't to Fred though. He's a boomer of sorts, and he's a smart investor. But again, let's see. Yeah. Yeah. let's see. A 20, yeah, even Vitalik's like a 20% chance quantum computers could break modern day cryptography by 2030. I would say it's less than that, because from the information that I've been studying over the last few months, to unravel a 256-bit encrypted key, you need like 100 million qubit computer, and we have 133. It's called the Torino, if I'm not mistaken. IBM's Torino is 133 bit. So you add about 6 zeros to the end of that, and then I'll be worried. And that's not
but still, like,
happening.
you know, let's say in the year 2060, you know, or 70, somewhere in the distant future, you know, these lost wallets, or, you know, the wallets that are lost on garbage fields and or whatever, in fires, you know, those will sort of recycle back into
Oh
active
yeah, I
supply,
mean,
right?
that's possible. That's a
Yeah.
scenario. I would say that's, again, that's probably in 2060. Then I think it's maybe
Yeah.
25%
And
to
that would be
maybe
good, right?
50% plausible. But you have to realize at that point, the mining community and the node runners might vote to upgrade the algorithm at that point and do a quantum resistant algorithm, right? SHA-3. And there's several others that they could upgrade to that would be easily applicable. And if we got consensus, then those old wallets then stay locked down. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah. So I mean, and that's a very, very, I think, a more plausible scenario, because there are, you know, cryptographers and developers that know way more about this stuff than I do, that are already working on this. Right. Let's be very clear. There's already people in the Bitcoin development community that are, you know that this article exists, right? Know that it's not a mega threat right now, but they're looking towards the future. They know that they're going to have to probably change the consensus algorithm to something quantum resistant, because there's already other blockchains that have done this in accordance with what's happening with, you know, quantum, and they're you know, let's call them what they are. They're supercomputers, right? They're these massive supercomputers that obviously they're going to get smaller and smaller as we go toward in the future as well. And as I think as these massive quantum supercomputers get smaller and smaller, the qubits are just going to go.
Yeah.
But until I see a million qubit quantum computer, I'm
No.
worried.
Yeah, I just put it out there just for fun.
Oh yeah. But you see, like, Fred Krueger's response. He's like, ah! It's like, dude, calm down. Like, it's a 6-bit key. A 256-bit key is like, you're talking. I like how being crypto is like toy key. Yeah. The permutations around unlocking a 6-bit key versus a 256-bit key are night and day, right?
Yeah.
But let's get back into other applications that Bitcoin is going to have, right? Remittances, obviously censorship resistance is an amazing feature of Bitcoin that a lot of people around the globe are starting to realize, right? So the global game theory, you know what? I might have to bounce back to.
Did you see that article from Batten where they did the research on refugees from war-torn countries and what they bring with them? And then, you know, there's a huge adoption of Bitcoin among refugees from war-torn countries. I think I got it right.
Yeah, because they understand it. Like, they get that concept, like, of like uprooting everything and, you know, starting over, and obviously starting over in some cases, thousands and thousands of miles from point A to point B. The easiest way to do that is with Bitcoin, right? Like you can literally just make a bit, like if you're really good, you can make your own Bitcoin wallet, right? Memorize your seed phrase, right? And that's all you have to have. You don't even have to have a stick drive in your pocket.
Yeah,
right?
listen to this. It finds that at least 329,000 displaced people have relied on Bitcoin for financial continuity, a figure projected to grow up to 7.5 million by 2035. So they're saving their lives and their wealth from, moving from one country to another because, whatever kind of reason, war torn or maybe climate change or whatever. It's like 329,000 people are already doing that. That's incredible, right?
Yeah. And again, it's a big city in most countries have started over using Bitcoin. That's another application, right? So we're literally just starting to peel back the surface, and we've already showed, Bitcoin has more applications than like most of the commodities that exist already and have existed for thousands of years, in some cases when we're talking about oil and gold. Yeah, so breaking, the government of Laos just announced it's going to start mining Bitcoin, right? And this isn't the only country. Like there's like 4 countries in the last couple of days. We're starting to see the Bitcoin dominoes fall, because it's not just about wealth creation, it's wealth preservation, right? Like that's what it's really about. Whereas the dollar, they're going to keep printing more. And we were just talking about if the supply keeps growing, right, your stack goes like that. That's what's been happening at a much more accelerated rate after the pandemic, right? They gave out all that free money globally, right? And then everyone, and then at that time, there was still tons of change for the future. A lot of those, and now we have issues, and now there's less goods, right? But everyone's still me, and now they have to raise the prices of everything, right? Like I open up my box of toothpaste from 2024 paste to 2025, and that's
crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't know if you saw my video from a couple of weeks ago where I posted it on, I'm pretty sure I posted on Twitter. If I did it, I'll make sure to do it again. But my toilet paper, I just bought another 4-pack of toilet
roll
paper.
In the center, right? It got bigger.
Yeah. Yeah, the center roll got bigger, right? So they don't have to put as much paper. They're, only a couple feet less per roll, but that's shrinkflation in real time. So, oh yeah, I labeled the video hyper shrinkflation, right? And that's what we're seeing. We're seeing instead of the dollar losing, we're seeing them take products and like joop, joop, joop. And it's like, oh, you're still paying the same amount. Oh yeah, but I'm getting way, way less.
You see,
and Bitcoin fixes that as well, right? That's another application. We're talking about Bitcoin's digital oil, right? As the value of Bitcoin approaches $1 billion in 30 plus years, because I was the first analyst to say that, by the way, everything will start to write, right? Like if we slowly, and this is the problem with stable coins, where the fiat universe out in this one direction.
The half-life of the dollar.
Yeah, we're and again, and it's an important thing. We do have to protect the dollar because we don't want it just to go. But at the same time, you don't have to like. That's even though I said this is what's probably happening. all of the green signs point to yes, Jerry's theory's right. They're going to tank a lot of the equities and bond market, but at the same time, they're going to float the stock market with all these new crypto IPOs. We've just seen it again, Gemini and BTC, right?
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, and then the next day, what comes out? Oh, Bo Hines is going to be the CEO of USAT, which is the official.
Yeah.
So all signs point to yes, I'm what I'm saying. But you don't want to be saving in dollar coins. You want to be saving in Bitcoin, Litecoin, small reserve currencies that have really good proof of work networks. Helium, right? I've been seeing helium this, helium that, helium this. I haven't talked a lot about it, but I do run a helium node. So that is it. Even though it's not 100% proof of work, it is a form. It's like proof of stake meets proof of work because I'm running the node, right? The transactions and the data go through my node and I get a cut of that. So that is, a version of, like I said, it's like proof of stake meets proof of work. But they've, like I said, I think back in 2021 when I got my new node, I think it was 2021 when I bought it. I want to say there was like close to 1 million helium hotspots globally. Yeah.
Yeah, I think a friend of mine is also mining it, or
who is
mining a node. A friend of mine. So I think in Holland there are a couple of a couple of them.
But ever since that like bear period from like 21 to like the last like year and a half, a lot of the price of everything went like that.
Yeah.
So a lot of those helium hotspots there was a lot of free ones that were given out by this one company. They're not around anymore. So a lot of those went offline, but they still run. I want to say it's like almost 110,000 nodes globally. But the reason why helium is picking up so much speed is because all these telecom companies, we're having problems with what? Bandwidth. Oh, shocker. Who's been warning about that? Me. The only person globally has been warning, like the internet is a problem globally, right? Especially in the United States where we have so many connected devices, and in Europe and all these, and in any country where they have a very high-end economy with all these gizmos and gadgets that talk to each other. If it's got an NFC chip in it, guess what? It's an IoT device, right? That means it can communicate independently with other devices on its own, right? So like I said this a couple months ago, right? I was looking at electric F-150 Ford trucks on my phone, and then my NFC chip from my phone shared that info with the NFC chip in my TV. And then I'm watching just an electric Ford commercial when I'm watching streaming TV the one day. And I was like, what? Oh, yeah. It's a big sieve, right? We showed that in several episodes.
Wasn't it also the World Economic Forum who warned for rolling blackouts? That we're going to experience rolling blackouts in the very near future. That was like one of their top priorities.
Well, exactly. We're getting to the point where nice. Thanks, Paul. We're getting to the point where, AI, right? I've been saying this for some time now. AI is a much larger bubble, in my opinion, than Bitcoin, because Bitcoin has these bootstrap applications where AI does not, right? AI, I had to build this data center, and then I got to build a power facility next to the data center to run Bitcoin. That facility, right? Like, right?
Yeah.
Right? But let's be clear.
But Gerald,
Bitcoin, you can roll up to a wind farm, and if this wind farm's not doing, enough business in this part of the season, I can strap ASICs into that equation and I'm earning money. That's a huge difference, right? That's like, I got to spend billions to make millions, or I spend millions to make billions.
But wasn't that also, you know,
that's a totally lopsided equation.
remember that video that they played from Batten, where he sort of explained that AI centers and AI developers need Bitcoin miners in order to make it work, to stabilize the grid and to create that sort of energy flexibility, because otherwise they are sort of, you know, taking all the energy and, you know, nobody wants them around, right? So they need, AI centers actually need Bitcoin. And you could say that AI itself also needs Bitcoin, right? So it's two other applications.
And that's if you just do a basic cursory research on AI data center energy uses versus Bitcoin, it's also like very lopsided. AI data centers are like energy, like Bitcoin's an energy pig. They're energy hogs, right? They have to be online, and that's another thing when it comes to grid balancing. Those AI data centers can't go offline in seconds. Bitcoin mining companies are like, "Oh, yeah, how much is the check?" Yeah, okay. And they're like, "We'll give you $7 million." You're like, "We're offline. Send the check, thanks." And that's a huge difference where the AI data center is like, no, we ain't go offline. We have to stay online. No. Don't touch it. And again, it's a very lopsided economical equation, right? Where again, I've said, I think, yes, companies like Google and Amazon and doing data management and cybersecurity and a certain amount of coding, yes, AI is going to be very helpful, and yes, people are going to lose jobs. That's facts. But when it comes to human interaction, it's just not there yet. It's very close, but
I did see, like, I think I got it here, that I think it was the
and also AI makes errors, right? A lot. And I posted up an article, and I don't think I have it on hand right now, but MIT did a study where 95% of all these AI models showed no profitability, right? Like literally. So it's like, unless you're in one of these niche markets, right? Like it's not worth like investing hundreds of millions of dollars, right?
But look at this one. This is like Albania's AI minister makes her parliament debut. The world's first AI governmental official dialogue.
I've seen like 4 of these though today. So is it all real or is it all
I have no idea.
baloney?
This is from Narwhal.
Nepal, supposedly. I feel like I saw one from that Albania. I saw one from another country. It's like, again, and you can't let this happen, right? We can't let this kind of stuff happen, because these AIs, even though they have good knowledge databases, they're very easily influential, right? If you present them with a good argument, and if the argument they can reference it in factual information in their library, then they'll change their mind, right? Like just like a human would do, and that's a good thing. But you don't want them to be so easily influenceable where they're like they just swing wherever the people pull them, right? Because then you have somebody that doesn't have a spine, and again, they're just going to go which way the wind goes, and that can be very dangerous, right? Like 1 second you're uber liberal, next thing you know, we've got an AI like Stalin, right? And you're like, you don't want that. And trust me, that's even though that's just me joking around, that could happen.
Yeah.
Right? Let's be very clear. And the more and more I look at AI, like I said, in these certain niche markets, I think they do swimmingly well. Outside of those niche markets, you're wasting billions and billions of dollars. And I see it from all these companies that don't understand Bitcoin's a bootstrap solution, right? We just saw it the other day. There's that ExxonMobil's taking sats, y'all. Hello, are you paying attention? Because we said that's coming. We said that the oil and gas industry will be coming for sats, whether it's we're mining, which they're already doing that, and now they're taking them at 2 different levels, right? They're mining it from the bottom end, and they're scooping it up on the Lightning Network on the top end. And as soon as they start, if Bitcoin hits 150K in the next 6 months, what are you going to see Exxon say? We're buying MicroStrategy. We're buying IBIT. We're buying, they're going to just start stacking their portfolio full of all of these Bitcoin. Wait a second, an oil company stacking their whole portfolio with Bitcoin products. Are you paying attention? Bitcoin's the new digital oil. Literally. There you go. Thank you, sir. Oh, sorry, Shell. It's Shell. My bad. But still, one of the biggest oil companies in the world, right?
Dutch.
And yeah, the Dutch guys. Shell is a massive oil company. And again, so that I misspoke because I know there are. I know the Saudis, the UAE, and I know there's tons of oil and gas companies in Texas doing it. They're just being very quiet about it. But this is, let's be clear, this is Shell. Shell's taking it from the top side. They're not mining just yet, but I'm pretty sure Shell will be mining in the future. Just a guess.
I'm pretty sure.
But this is huge, right? We have an oil company taking Satoshis directly for oil or petrol, in this case for gasoline to run your car. That's a huge thing. And once they start to see the economics, man, like I said, if Bitcoin goes to 150K, they're going to be like,
yeah, and
they're going to get the bug.
This morning, Matty Greenspan shared the what is it, the asteroid Psyche 16, I think it is. You know, what NASA is trying.
Oh yeah, I had that pulled up in my yeah. Go ahead.
So it's like a, what is it? It's 700 quintillion dollars worth of metals like nickel, platinum, iron, and gold, of course. You know, once that,
yeah, I've been talking about that asteroid for like 5 years, and anytime I see Peter Schiff, I'm like, you know, that exists. He acts like it's like made up, like it's fictional. I'm like, no, bro, like it's real. And here, I think I have it right here.
I got it here.
Yeah, I got it. So yeah, 16 Psyche. It's valued at $700 quintillion. So 700 Q. So that, like, literally that asteroid is like, I think all the markets in the world are somewhere between 2 to 4 quadrillion, and this is quintillion.
No, I think
so,
because in this post they say, like, you know, everybody would be like a billionaire or something. Where does it say it? Oh yeah, to make every Earthling a billionaire. But Matty pointed out, of course, you know, once it hits the Earth, you know, we'll all be poor. You know, it won't be worth a thing.
Oh, yeah. Again, this is why I say gold is going to zero, right? Like, the reason why Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk are, you know, working on space missions, it's, you know, the highfalutin answer is to explore space. The real reason is to get literally boots on that asteroid right there. And once they do, you know, there's a rare earth mineral shortage in the world, in the globe. There's a couple companies that are working on doing rare earth vacuuming of the oceans. Yep. So like literally, it's not as a big a problem as it was like 10 years ago. But again, Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk are going to space to find asteroids just like that, to get cheap gold silver, platinum, molybdenum, titanium, all these rare earth minerals that we have in our smartphones, our tablets, our EVs, our cars, you know, our everything we use every day, from our watches to our flat screen TVs. And that just makes them better. And we can't keep mining here, right? They know that. That's the one smart, good thing, is like, we can't keep drilling all these holes in the earth because we live on it. But if we go to space, we can exploit the crap out of some of these asteroids.
And it creates tons of jobs.
And
repurpose, yeah.
Oh yeah, it's going to create lots of jobs, but the price of all those rare earth minerals is on a trajectory this way. This is just the facts, right? We've already seen charts. Gold is one of the few things that's held up the best against Bitcoin. But if you look at chart against property values in Bitcoin, not so good. We've talked about this many, many, many times on the show. You might want to be putting up your properties for Bitcoin, and
so
it will sell.
Gerald, you're the oracle. So I have my prediction, but when do you think, like, when will they mine this for, you know, the first asteroid? You know, when will gold tank?
Well, again, it's still, even though it kind of flatlined over the last couple of years against the price of Bitcoin because it's done so well in the last 6 months, before it got to 3,300 or whatever it's at now,
I think
it was on its pathway. Yeah, it might be even higher, but it was heading this way, right? The only reason that it's surviving because there's old money out there that doesn't understand Bitcoin, and gold is analog.
Well, and then don't you? I also have another theory. I think these central bankers are actually, you know, at one point they still appreciate gold as you know, sound money and as a hedge against inflation, but I think they also realize that Bitcoin is going to replace it. But then they have this stash of gold that they can use for robotics, AI. You know, they can sort of implement sort of their stash of gold and use it as an industrial metal, like that they're building up.
As soon as they start dipping into that stash for industrials, that's when precious metals really start to, because them reaching the asteroid is way farther out than us needing silver and gold for everyday applications, just because it's healthier for biomedical and it's way better for electronics, right? We all know silver and gold, if you had that running through your boards, oh my gosh, you're going to have way better zeros and ones clicking through those circuits, right? So I think there is a certain point on the chart where we saw, like we talked about this a couple of shows ago, and I've talked about it many times on my, you know, at GER313, where a couple years ago when oil was hitting like 115 to 120 something, I was like, I think we're seeing peak oil, and now we have the data to back it up, right? We're now seeing now gold catch up to oil, right? Where we're seeing peak gold right now. I think it hits, I said the highest I think it hits is 4K. Some people are like 10. I'm like, no. They keep finding more and more of it here, right? They just found another huge rock in either Kenya or Uganda, one of say a month ago, right? A massive one. This was almost as big as the one they found 6 months ago. So they keep finding it because
need it for industrial purposes.
Exactly. And also, you know, it's not native to here, right? It does only come from asteroids.
And it's actually also,
so the more
we actually have like small particles of gold in our brain, right? It's actually the stardust is actually also inside of us. So,
I didn't even know we had small nanoparticles of gold in our brain. That's dope. But yeah, I mean, so the fact, like I said earlier, you know, they're just trying to beat the asteroid to hitting the earth and then having to extract it from some mountain vein that's buried, you know, 2 miles in the ground, right? It's a lot easier if technology is on a trajectory also, then Elon Musk wins, right? Or
Well,
Jeff Bezos.
another application of Bitcoin would be like that it makes a space-based economy possible. Otherwise, it wouldn't be possible.
Oh, and there was an article that just came out a couple weeks ago. I think they said that a Bitcoin transaction can be done from here to Mars in like 10 minutes. So, or it was like 8 minutes, but I was like, oh, it's funny how it's almost a block time. But yeah, and I've said that back in 2018, Bitcoin is the money for space travel. You can't haul cash. You can't haul, right? What's all this paper for? Oh, we'll bring all this cash to Mars. Like, what? Cuckoo. Or gold, right? Like, oh yeah, we're going to strap one of the heaviest metals on the periodic table inside the rocket, which we're trying to make light as crap so we can leave the planet. Yeah, let's load it down with one of the heaviest metals on the planet. Yeah, not happening.
How about these two, right? The first one is like, once we go into space, we're also going to start colonies, right? And what is the first things that colonies do once you create them? They rebel, right? So you need a trustless money that you can use in between the home planet and the colony. But I would also say, like, as soon as AI sort of starts using, well, it already does, but if it starts using crypto on a really large scale, you also need like an immutable, incorruptible, uncensorable type of money in order to make all those transactions sort of work, right? Otherwise, you get chaos.
Again, they won't be safe. Yeah. And that's why it has to be done on a proof of work network or some type of if it is a proof of stake network like Helium, like we were talking, it's an incentivized proof of stake. It's not just I lock these tokens and that's it. I lock these tokens and then every so many transactions that run through or whatever amount of data that's running through my hub, I'm getting paid back on the back end. And like I was saying, all these telecom companies are now starting to link into the Helium network because they see that it has penetrated so deep, especially in the United States, where the Helium mobile network itself is like, so just throwing it out there. Do your own research. As always, I'm not endorsing it. I've been a part of the Helium family for some time. I think it was like 2020. I made some money on one of my crypto investments. They were like, we take USDC. I was like, okay, click. I've been running that hub for a while. The last couple of years, it wasn't generating that much Helium token. When the very beginning it was, but once we got, like I said, to that like painful couple of years after 2020, it slowed down to like almost nothing. But over the last like couple of months, it's like all of a sudden I'm seeing like more and more slivers like coming through, and I'm like, oh, that's nice. But yeah, they also.
By the way, you're right. It's like 3 minutes. You can send it in, as fast as 3 minutes using the Bitcoin Lightning.
Oh, 3 minutes! Wow. Oh, there it is. Awesome. Yeah, insane stuff. But the thing that's really crazy is we're starting to see the Web3 economy come to fruition, right? Like Helium has a free mobile service, right? Like you can get Helium mobile and literally pay nothing. Obviously, it's their lowest tier plan. But that's amazing. There's millions of people globally that don't have a device. There's probably hundreds and hundreds of thousands in the United States that could now have a phone. You only get X amount of minutes and X amount of data, but it's completely free. And their next tier, they do have some paid for plans. But Paul was the one who pointed that out to me and was like, yo, dude, I was testing it out. And he's like, it works. And I was like, what, really? And he's like, yeah. And he's like, I think I'm going to leave. I think he's on AT&T. He's like, I think I'm leaving AT&T or Verizon. I forget which one he was on. But this is huge, right? Like the telecommunications game, is literally becoming more and more decentralized, and that's a good thing. Trust me on that. Oh, there you go. And again, if you have one of the higher tier plans, they pay you. And I think even on the free, you get some tokens, but obviously on the paid for plans, you get more tokens. Let's see, is that you're at helium.com.
Yeah.
Let me pull up because it's a totally different company. Let me see. Helium. So I'm just using this as an example because it's mainly just like an app. But I'm not going to give anyone this link because I don't know if it's a safe link or anything because, just found it. But if you go onto the Play Store or the iOS store, the Apple store, just look up Helium Mobile and you can download it. And I'm just throwing it out there. If your mobile bill is too high, I mean, I think mine is, but I'm just not willing to make the leap just yet. Like I said, they have a free version and then they have a couple paid for versions. I don't know why I couldn't find like that on the web. Give me a second. Let me see if I can find something better.
But then, we already listed, I think, like 10 different reasons why Bitcoin is indispensable and why it is so much better than oil or gold.
Oh, yeah. Again, it's just on the sheer...
I also like this one, by the way. This was like today. Wait.
Just on the sheer timeline of Bitcoin's life, right? Yeah. It literally, like I said, it's 1,000 years ahead in just 16 plus years. It's done what gold and oil have done in 16 years, and it's already a $2 trillion market cap plus. It is going to remain one of the most important inventions in the history of the world, right? Like it's now ranked as one of the most, groundbreaking inventions in the history of the world. It will slowly move up that chart to the top in the next 10 years as more and more and more people figure it out. I know I've been talking about helium. It's just because we're showing how the incentivization of the cyber realms is coming back to the people, right? Like that's an important thing. Bitcoin does it as a, digital savings account at its base, easement for the human race, right? Helium obviously is doing a whole bunch of other crazy stuff. However, they're trying to give literally they're creating Pluto TV for telecom, right? They're giving you free telecom services for nothing, and then they're going to pay you a little bit of, I think, their mobile coin back, right? Which is crazy. And we said these times are coming, and they're here, right? They're here. Wake up. Figure out why Bitcoin's important. Yes, helium, I think, is definitely going to be one of the game changers because they have 100,000 hotspots, right? That's a lot of nodes to have in any network, right? Bitcoin has 20 to 30,000. Ethereum has 10 to 15,000. Helium's got 10x on a lot of these networks of nodes out there. And AT&T, Verizon, T-Mobile, they're all now starting to pay Helium. They'd be like, hey, can you help us out? They're like, sure thing. So again, it's something to research. I'm not saying to throw your life savings into it, but it's also something to, if you don't have a phone right now, right, you can take your phone, get on Wi-Fi, download the app, and now you have communications again. You have a phone number again, for anybody who's like homeless or just can't afford it, right? Like right now, we've just talked about hyper shrinkflation. Well, if you can't afford your phone bill, you can get a free phone plan through the Helium network,
Yep.
right? You're welcome. I don't get paid any money except what comes through my node, which is literally right where I'm pointing to right now, sitting by the window.
But
that's a big deal.
Gerald, do you know which building this is?
I want to say some big bank.
Oh, pretty
Bank?
close. It's the European Central Bank. So they put
Oh.
the Bitcoin logo on the European Central Bank today, which was really funny.
And yeah, and that was the big story of the day, is that the president of the European Parliament is pushing really hard to get the digital euro pushed out. And again, this is what we've talked about. They just want to extend the fiat game out. And again, there is some importance to that, right? And again, you may have to use those as tools to, you know, buy your groceries or do this or that, but you don't have to save in it, right? That's why there's Bitcoin. That's why there's Litecoin. That's why there's literally hundreds and hundreds of other cryptos out there that you could be saving in if you believe in it. Obviously, our show's called Proof of Work, and we've explained multiple times why proof of work networks are far superior when it comes to security and value protection as a whole from top to bottom. But some of these other networks are going to be around for 10 or 20 years. Ethereum's going to be around for another 20 years. It's a massive network. It moves billions of dollars every day. Do I like it? No. But these are just facts, right? You can go to, I think it's money-movers.info, and Bitcoin and Ethereum move anywhere from 40 to $100 billion on any given day. And that's money that's not going through central banks like we just saw the Bitcoin logo on, right? That's democratization of capital at a very high order. And those numbers are just going to keep going up. It's going to be in the trillions of dollars that these protocols are moving around on a daily basis. And if you're, you know, just starting just now, even, you're not too late, right? You're not too late. Start to learn how these systems work, right? Start to learn how a Bitcoin wallet works, what Bitcoin is, why, you know, Ethereum is going to be around. If you see a 0x in your wallet, yeah, it's built on Ethereum, so Ethereum's going to be around. How do L2s work on Ethereum, right? Like there's a list of like so many things that you're probably going to have to know going into this Web3 economy. And if you're just starting right now, it's a lot to take in. I get that. That's why we always tell everyone, start with Bitcoin, right? It is the grandfather of all cryptos. It's going to be around for probably another couple thousand years. Not an exaggeration.
In France, they're finally starting to see the light on their national news television broadcasting. They actually started to talk about, you know, that you should buy Bitcoin. Right? This clip from like the news channel, like the major news channel in France is sort of about, you know, that people should buy Bitcoin ASAP. You know, because at the moment France and the UK are basically going through a sovereign bond crisis, right? So, and Germany is not far behind. And Raoul Pal did a really good interview with Michael Howell about liquidity in the system. And they also go into stable coins. And like what you said with CBDCs in Europe, you know, Europe is very fearful, terrified of stablecoins, right? Because it will suck the liquidity from their bond market and into stablecoins, which will then fund the U.S. Treasury and ultimately Bitcoin, of course. So, you know, they are waking up in Europe finally.
I mean, look, that's been the plan ever since, you know, anybody who's studied global economics and Bitcoin very, very closely, the plan's always been, if we can get them just to like start putting it on the balance sheet, well, then America will be okay. And that's about to happen, right? Like, there's a lot of people that are meeting with the president. Oh, go ahead. Yeah, okay, share away.
Role of stablecoin and how this gives a conduit to the Treasury and Besant to actually do a lot more funding. I mean, this could be big, and I think it's, you know, if you start to look at how stablecoins operate, typically, I mean, you could make a case, and in fact, I've sort of argued negatively in one regard to say that, you know, a big growth in stablecoin could actually dent bank credit significantly, because actually a stablecoin is a lot more, or a stablecoin issuer is a lot more constrained than a bank. And if a lot of funds move from banks into stablecoins, you're not going to get credit growth, which is, you know, clearly a possibility. But then you've got to think about it from the other side, is that actually it's a wonderful source of credit for the Treasury. And so this is what you're going to get, is much more public sector led credit growth via the stablecoin conduit. And it's really an opportunity, in no other words, for governments to print money.
What's interesting is those of us have been around a long time. You know, we grew up with the Eurodollar market. The Eurodollar market was the...
Explaining my theory to a T, right? Like, let's be very clear. We've been explaining this for a couple episodes. I floated the idea like maybe a month or two ago, that this is precisely the US's plan, right? We're going to build up this massive Bitcoin reserve, and then we will borrow against it to other countries using Bitcoin bonds, but we're not going to loan them Bitcoin. No, we'll loan you stable coins.
Can I play a little bit more? Because
go ahead. Sorry, didn't mean to cut you off, Raul.
He's going to talk about Europe. Listen to this.
Wholesale funding markets of the dollar, but that stopped at like the big Japanese banks, you know, the European banks and stuff like that. And then you had to get access to it, and it was restricted down to others. It was hard to get hold of dollars outside of that, but that was the big dollar funding market. What stablecoins essentially is a fractionalized Eurodollar market down to individual level. So it means you can be in any country in the world and get access to dollars, which is an extraordinary thing. And so what you're doing is spreading the dollar and the issuance of bonds and the holding of bonds down to individuals all around the globe.
Yeah, I think it's a revolution. I think you can see why it's so important, given the sort of sudden change of heart by the Europeans, who were sort of dragging their feet hugely on some equivalent euro currency, and now they're basically going full steam ahead.
And are they going to do it via the central bank digital currency route, or are they just going to let the open market just build to try and spread demand for euros? Because
I think given the fact it's Europe, it's got to be the central bank route. They're not going to let the private sector get in there, but that's what they should be doing.
Yeah, and let's see whether there's actual demand for euros on a globalized basis. It feels like it's a dollar world, and it's the US. But I think
they're running scared because they realise that they could be wiped out or smothered, crowded out, in fact, by dollar stablecoins.
And even your chart of showing the amount of money piling to the US shows that crowding out is happening. And that's what we're seeing in the UK and the French bond markets, essentially, is there's not enough foreigners who want to finance other countries' debts. We're seeing, whether arguably maybe in Japan as well, there's not enough demand because everybody would rather finance the US.
Yeah, I think absolutely.
And that's good for the US economy, but that's bad for the French bond market, for example. And we said this, right? Like there's a point coming where Bitcoin and dollars are way more valuable than everything else, and the dollar will be the last thing to crash. And again, Bitcoin and all these stable coins, they extend the life of the dollar out into the future ad infinitum. Bitcoin doesn't need the dollar, but the dollar needs Bitcoin. Let's be very clear. I said that many times. Yeah. But with the stable coins, like they said, we can float this money market out globally. Then we've got, bond traders in Jakarta, right, that only have maybe $10,000 worth of capital invested, but they're still generating enough revenue for their for their lifestyle, right? And that is a huge deal. So I have to be very clear. It's like, I don't like stable coins as a vehicle for long-term savings. Do I think there'll be cool products built around stable coins that suck up a ton of money? Yes. Do I think I will be involved in them? I don't know. Maybe not. I just prefer the old-fashioned, like I've said many times. Are we losing? I don't know if that's the chat or us. I don't know. Like I said, I'm the old-fashioned way. I'm going to stick to Bitcoin and Litecoin. What I know is token economics. Eventually, might I get into Bitcoin bond markets? Maybe. Are they going to be huge? Yes. But I've never been interested in those markets because they're usually low yield markets, right? Maybe Bitcoin bonds might put up 10-20% yields, but in crypto space, I like 10,000% returns, right? That's what I'm looking for. And even though people say that that's gambling, and it's like, well, that's why I usually manage my risk, right? I always tell people, you're throwing your life savings into a base meme coin. Should I open up my MetaMask and show you all these coins that are in there? They're like $1, less than a penny, like 2 cents, $1, right? So I have lots of those wallets, by the way. So but guess what? I have maybe like a half dozen to a dozen Bitcoin wallets. All of those,
well,
have gone like this.
The one that you showed at the beginning, like with the
one.
basketball player, the NBA player, with the Coinbase account that he was locked out for how many years?
Oh yeah, it's right in my bookmarks. I pull it back up.
Just
bookmarks.
Actually, Coinbase should do that with every user, right?
It was a while. It was definitely a while.
Just lose your keys and then don't look at it for like 10 years or something.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and that's another thing. Kevin Durant. Yeah. Now that you have access back to your BTC was $650 then. Holy moly. This is why you don't keep your crypto on exchanges, right? They've had his Bitcoin locked up for since 2016. Oh my gosh, almost 10 years, right? It's nice that Coinbase finally got to his customer service request. Great job. And again, even though the show wasn't about that, today's episode was called Bitcoin is Digital Oil. I think we had enough evidence to show that. Not your keys, not your cheese, right? Like he should have. Now that he has access to this, it should be going into a Valet, a Ledger, a Trezor, right?
That's to do, yeah.
Something that you control, because as we can see, it was not a big issue because Kevin Durant's a multimillionaire. But if it was you or me, we'd be really upset because that's lots and lots of money that you have no access to. And if you own the keys, right, you can borrow against it. You can put, obviously some on the different platforms and then convert it into their wrapped version and throw it into their DeFi platform. Don't recommend doing that either. But yes, people do it and people are successful at it. I stick to what I know, and that's I find undervalued crypto commodities that nobody's paying attention to, and I build up a position, and then I wait and I wait and I wait and I wait and I wait.
That's a lot of waiting.
Wait.
Patience
It's a lot of wait. That's the worst part. Yeah, that's the worst part of being a hodl trader, as I call myself, is you have to wait sometimes 2 to 3 years, maybe 6 years before your position hits your target zone that you thought it would hit. And usually, if you've done the math right, usually it will if enough capital comes into that market or commodity. Anyway, I think we've gone like an hour and 10 today. I think it's a good spot to wrap it up.
Can I ask you one final question? So, we're sort of nearing the end of September, going into October. How do you see sort of the next 3 months play out?
So I think we do hit another all-time high by the end of the month, maybe on Bitcoin's unofficial birthday, because technically it's the white paper day, but it's not really its birthday. But I wouldn't be surprised if we see a new all-time high right at the end of, like I said, on the going out of the month, maybe the first week October, but definitely at the end of October for Halloween, which is, now officially, if you're a Bitcoiner, it's Bitcoin's white paper day, and a much cooler holiday.
That's a movie.
But yeah, I think because of all the news that we're hearing just in the last couple of days, right? We have multiple nation states coming out saying, oh yeah, we're going to mine Bitcoin. We've been studying El Salvador, and yeah, this makes sense. We have all this energy that nobody's using, and we can make all this money. It'd be stupid not to, right? Correct. Exactly what I've been saying for the last couple of years, right? If you're building a business and you're not thinking like, how can I strap an ASIC into this model? How can I put, a Bitcoin miner or a Litecoin miner into this model? Then you're just throwing money, like a lot of money, not a little. You're throwing like lots of money out the window, and all these countries are catching wise. And yeah, I think Grok is pretty close. I think it goes somewhere to 200 to 500, and it's just because the global demand is skyrocketing, right? Like we're starting to see the global game theory play out in real time. And there's my boy Blue. He wants to go to the park, as you can see.
It was a pleasure, as always. And I think it was a good show.
Yeah, thanks to Nick and the team at Bitcoin Live. Thank you to all our sponsors, Quantum Expeditions, Shieldfolio, Deorganized Media. Thank you for everyone that was in the chat today, because there was a lot going on over there. And yeah, follow Bitcoin Live on
Gerald.
X, and and follow me too. It's GR313.x. That's my almost everything handle on almost everything that's out there. All right, take care. Have a good one. Peace.